So a few videos back, I posted doing the Unthinkable with my 90 amp flux core wire welder from Harbor Freight, and in this video we're going to be doing maybe something not quite as extreme, but the steel is definitely thicker. So this is the ball hitch that I have for it, and a couple things need done to it. Number one, I'm going to re-drill the hole instead of back here, and I'm going to suck this thing further back into the tube. This hitch was too far out, and going up a hill, a pretty small hill, with my brother on the tongue of the trailer in addition to the toolbox and everything else, I did about a 3-foot wheelie in the cub, which that was kind of surprising. I think the ball hitch here hit the ground, and I'm going to try to get more weight onto the front of the tractor. But today I need a hook on this thing. My brother has one on his, and he got his at Harbor Freight, and this one came from Harbor Freight, and actually I think this hook even came from Harbor Freight. But I need to put a hook on here. I don't know why they didn't do it, but it just didn't come with one. So I'm going to be welding this hook on. I've cut the eyelets off here, and I'm just going to be doing a couple beads on each side. I'm still using the 90 amp flex wire welder with the E71TGS, so gasless flux core wire. I do have a 20 amp circuit to this with a pretty thick extension cord. It's almost as thick as my thumb. Actually, it's even thicker than my thumb. And also, I'm going to try to prevent the real bad sunburn that I got, or a flash welding burn, I guess that's sort of what it's called, this time. And I'm going to be using, this is some sunscreen, and I put that on my shoulder where the welding burn was, and hopefully that'll help to stop the sunburn. I also built a mount for, you guessed it, an ammo can. I'm going to put an ammo can on the back on top of the hitch. Fortunately, the hitch is long enough, so I've read some of the comments in the other video, and I think what I'm going to do is, a lot of people said to preheat the steel before welding, and I think that's a smart idea. So I'm going to preheat this hook here. I already have it tacked up, so it shouldn't really move a whole lot. I'm just going to be using my propane tank. You can get this fuel at Walmart for, I think it's around a little less than $5 for 2 of these things. So let's start preheating this thing. Many people have said to never weld anything that is structural with this welder because it's supposedly only 90 amps and it's not a very powerful machine, and it also came from Harbor Freight. That may be true to a certain extent. However, my brother and I have welded, well, he actually started welding with this machine a couple years ago, and the first thing he welded was a trailer hitch for his Sears Suburban Custom 10XL. We have more than tortured that hitch and had no problems whatsoever with it. It's never bent, cracked, came apart, broken, anything. So this trailer hitch that I did in a video or two ago, I don't think we will have any problems with it at all. My hitch has more surface area of weld on it and than it does on his. So he has way more, could have way more problems with his. And in this hook that I'm putting on this 2-inch receiver, or 2-inch tube, it's got to be pretty strong, because obviously, you know, what I'd be pulling with it could break loose. And I don't expect this to have any problems either. I think I did like 3 or 4 passes on it total on each side, and the preheating did seem to help some, at least getting it started whenever all the steel around it's real cold. And you know, once you continue welding, obviously the temperature of that will keep heating up more and more and more, so you're less likely to have, I guess it's called cold roll. But a commenter, I'm sorry I can't remember your name, in my first video that I did welding up this hitch, he said to go around the corners of the whatever I'm welding, because that is a stress point. And you know what? That is actually a great idea. Those are the comments that I like reading, rather than the ones that come off as being real condescending and just, you know, they're on their high horse and they're a know-it-all and I'm basically nothing because I'm just using a cheap welder from Harbor Freight. At some point I may get a better welder to do things when this one is done, but as of right now I'm just going to keep welding with this welder that I have right now. So here's what the first pass looks like. There's definitely some spots that I missed, but I'm going to go over this a second time, and that should be pretty good. There was quite a gap in here in the middle, at least 1/4 of an inch, so I tried sticking the wire in there as far as I could in the gun to get things to go in and basically seal up that middle. But I have to do, you know, so there's a little spot there, and then over on this side, if I can get the camera to focus, there we go. That side I did a little better. It's a little difficult working around the camera and getting things right. These welds would have looked a lot better if I hadn't had the camera here and I could just, you know, weld it for what is the most comfortable for me. I'm running the wire feed speed on about 3. And maximum, and I did preheat it for a little bit, and that seems to have helped a little. And I know there's going to be some people that are going to say that I'm a beginner, and that's to a yes and no, not really. I'm on my 3rd 10-pound spool of this welding wire with this welder. So I've gone through 2 10-pound spools fully, and then I'm on my 3rd one. So, you know, I've ran quite a bit of wire through this welder, and it still is running good and everything. I noticed the fan sounds a little different now, so I don't know what's up with the fan, but for everything else it seems to be doing fine. So let's get back to doing some more welding, and we'll do the second pass. The hook here was already beveled. The corners are already beveled, so I don't really need to bevel anything. I remember probably about a year ago, just telling you guys a little story here. So my brother graduated from high school, and he had a friend that went to Votech, and he got certified in welding. And my brother, this other student, and one of my brother's other friends, they all went out and they built a go-kart. And the student that was certified in welding was using, it was like a Miller or something, or Hobart, or it was a MIG welder. And he has all the schooling and stuff, plus he has the nice equipment. And whenever they built that go-kart, they had, I think it was like 3 or 4 welds break on it, which to me was actually kind of comical, because here I am using this is just my little cheap Harbor Freight welder, and as long as I do this right and spend a little bit of time on it, it shouldn't break or anything. I know there's people that are going to disagree with me, but time will tell, and we will see. I don't expect to have any problems with this, but I just thought it was kind of, I guess, a little comical that the kid that had the nice welder and all the schooling, and he had welds break, and then there's my brother and I that have no schooling, and we're using the cheap little flex core welder from Harbor Freight, and we haven't really had any problems with any of the welds. Another thing, we have also welded I made a plate on the trailer for a pickup truck crane, and I welded that onto the trailer with this welder, and I also welded a brace in between to go between the crane and the trailer, and that hasn't broken or anything, and I've absolutely tortured that crane. But I think this was the 3rd or 4th pass finally, something like that. And I zoomed in this time on the camera, and I think this actually shows up better, and it looks relatively good on camera. I know you can't really see much of the outside, the surrounding. You can just see where I'm welding. But I'll tell you, this little welder impresses me. Obviously you're not going to be doing production welding and stuff with this thing, but it's, for the backyard guy, it's more than adequate. In case anybody doesn't believe me that I'm using a 10-pound spool, I just finished off my 3rd one, so right at 30 pounds of wire that I've put through this machine so far. And the 10-pound spool will actually fit in this machine pretty good. Here's the spool I'm running, 0.035, and it was manufactured in 2014, I think. So time to put on the 4th one. I put in a new one, and I had a real difficult time feeding it through the gun, getting it to feed the whole way through to the gun. And this is only like a 6-foot cord at the most. I think that's what they advertise with it. And I took the cap off here, and I took the tip out on the inside, and it still wouldn't feed, so that was weird to me. I did replace the tip on the inside there, you can see it, and I have the new wire in the welder. But I'm starting from 30 pounds of wire up. I just hit 30 pounds. So here's what the hook looks like with it being done. I know the flex core welds are not pretty, they're not a stack of dimes, but that's not the look that I'm going for. This will be just fine. I do think preheating did help some. And like I said in a video or two ago, I don't claim to be a professional welder, but I can put 2 pieces of metal together, weld them, and get them to hold. So, I think that's about all I have to say for this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.